So for you out there new in Melted Red Brick University, we're going to show some evidence here that are pretty basic for the crew, for the Salty Eagle crew, Eagle Eye crew out there. But I want to touch on these just to show you what we're talking about here. We got a piece of evidence right here. And now this is a habitable building. You can tell. It's refurbished on the outside. They got the wood decking out there. It looks pretty good, man. Looks pretty good. They're living out of it and stuff like that. But what we're talking about is the foundation for it. The foundation for it. Because every building has to have a foundation. In fact, every person has to have a foundation for that. But look at the bottom of this. Now, we'll start at the top. Let's just do this. We'll just get right to it. We'll start at the top. This is red brick. Agree? This is a red brick structure, and people are living out of it. Yes. In fact, there they are right there. See them? Yeah. Now, doesn't something look different or odd about this building right here? If you notice, the brick starts getting really weird looking when you start getting down right here. And as we go down this building, we can see the texturing starting to change on this brick. We can see the texturing starting to change on this brick. And it starts really changing in certain spots. And as we go down further, we can really start to see it change now. See it? See the state of matter changing? We've got different. And instead of brick, now we got block. We got red block. We got brick block. And we got balloon rock starting to pop out over here. And scorching going on over here. We go to the other side, we can really start to see it to disintegrate and fall apart. And what we like to describe as melted as fuck. And as we go down further, we start seeing that this building starts to take on mountain features. Just a second. Starting to see mountain features, because that's what geologists call this realm, is mountains. And we can see it blend in with the vegetation down here. And we can see part of an arch being lost in the melt. This wall expanded and cut the arch off. So how do we explain this? Well, geologists have not explained it, won't explain it, won't touch it. Structural engineers are just as baffled. But, because you would think that people with such esteemed degrees would have more of a critical thinking about them. Most of us learn off what we call the process of elimination. You see something and you can't figure it out. So what you start doing is whittling away at what you think it is. And if it doesn't fit the evidence, then you toss it out. So, tectonic plates. Let's just look at this right here. Tectonic plates. Nah. Erosion? Anybody? Erosion? No, don't think so. Abnormal grain growth. Let's just see. Wow, that's some fucking abnormal grain growth right there. I really don't think that's abnormal grain growth either. So, when you start whittling away at the things that you don't fit the evidence, what you start coming up with is what we like to describe as meltology. because that's the only explanation that fits the evidence that we see. Now, we can agree right here, this is not a fucking natural geological feature. And we can see it's an actual building, a construct, if you will. Now, something looks really fucking weird about this construct. Don't you agree? And if we look at the bottom, I mean, the whole thing just looks weird. But, you know, let's start at the left. And we start at the left here and we go to the right. We can see that things just aren't the same. There's the left. And as we go to the right, we start seeing the state of matter really changing. And we can start seeing this ballooning, this expansion coming off this wall. And it travels all the way down to the other side of this building, this construct. And we can see how it changed the state of matter in this building, and it disintegrated out and melted off of itself. In fact, you know, we describe the event that did this as the X factor event. And when we describe the X factor event, what we say and what the evidence shows is this electrical heat energy of an imaginable size come from the bottom up and melted everything from the inside out. Now, the evidence supports this because if you look once again, we can see the right side does not look like the left side. And what we see is the state of matter changing and expanding and ballooning up and out. We see it. It's obvious. This side to this side. And when we look over here at this expansion that just ate this building out, we can see parts of this wall right here in the front. Look. The texturing of it. We can still see some sort of renditioning, some sort of piece of the structure here in the melt, in the expansion. We can almost see detail of what used to be there in the expansion. And you can see it just popping out. The whole foreground coming towards us. The whole thing is melt. And this is a great piece of evidence to wake people up to meltology because it's so damn obvious. It's so obvious. Yeah, Drake, they ain't going to build that, and they know that. You can't build like that, man. You can't. So we're showing you this event did happen, and this is real evidence. Like this. This is an up close and personal of some internals that melted away, melted out from underneath the structure that's above it. And if you look real close, you can see the rock curtain coming over the top, the expansion just ballooning out over the top of the bottom here. And you can see underneath details in the structure coming out with the expansion over the internals underneath here. Red brick, all structure up in here, all of it. This is even structure. These were not carved. And you know, the narratives out there are out there to distract you. They got so many people out there thinking that these things were carved. They weren't carved because if you were to carve them, they certainly wouldn't look like that. You can tell the straight line here, the right angle here. This used to be a door. It's all now expanded out, and the definition is lost in the door. And you can see that. And you can see that in the arch right here, too. In the opening right here, too. You can see the expansion coming out of this aperture back in here, which is inside of this aperture here. So these are the internals of this structure, what's left of the structure, because the rest of it is gone. These were in the building at one time. And you can see down here at the bottom, the floor plans of the building and the chunks of the building flowing out with the melt, disintegrating out with the melt right here. Here's one. See it? You can see the brick block in that. You can see the C14 still in that. This part of the structure that's no longer there. This is just what's left of the structure. And again, these are the internals of the structure. These were once inside the building. Now they're not. And you can see this door, whatever back in here, melted into it as well. See it? So there's no other way to describe this. This was a heat energy, an electrical heat energy. It came from the bottom up, inside out. See? Internals of a building right here. Now, how do you do that? All you big brain, 6-digit figured academia out there with your vacation homes and your nice cars. How do you do that? You build like that. How do you build like that? Come on now. You make enough money, you should be able to answer this shit. How do you do that? Look at that wall. Started out brick, went brick block back here, expanded out into bricks twerking back in here, and then it really got going funky psychedelic back in here. Look at the state of matter. Look at the transitioning. Look at the differentials in that right there. You don't build like that, man. You can't build like that. These things are fused and welded together, man. These things are fused and welded together. Look at the top up here. Look at the state of matter up in here, man. And this is what we do in Melted Red Brick University. We break down the evidence, we show the evidence, and we ask questions. Another inside of an internal of a melted structure. The internals of a melted structure. Let's do something. Let's pop it a little bit. Let's pop it a little bit. Let's do this. Let's go way in here and see these balloon rocks right here. See these right here? Let's do this. There we go. There we go. There's the internals of this melted structure right here. Yes, and we do mean melted structure because down below we have an arch. See it? An arch. Disintegrated down onto itself, melted down onto itself. You can see the rubble underneath it here. In fact, you can see the expansion and the melt right here. Look at that. You can see it melting. You got brick in here, melting, expanding, flowing over here, and dripping over here. We got scorching right here. We got balloon rocking going on right here. And this is all red brick. And this is the signature of the X Factor event right here. The scorching, the color differentials, the brick, the balloon rock, all intermixed with each other because it was building. It was the structure changing its state of matter in an instant. This event happened very quickly and very dramatically. The internals just expanded and ate out all definition of inside this structure right here. The only thing we have left is the arch down below and a little bit of the aperture back in here where we started, showing the heat damage all the way through.